Hello, this is Dika from Dika's Adventures. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the basics of fishing. Before I get started, if you would like and subscribe to my channel, that would be great. And ring that bell, that will alert you of any new videos that I have coming out. So this is broken into 2 sections. The first half of it, I'm going to show you the essentials of what you should probably take with you. And the second half of it is me on the water. And that's it. I'm going to catch some fish and try to give you some insight. Now there's a couple rules, not rules, but steps you would take when you're out fishing. And as one of them is, first you cast it out. I'm going to be using a bobber. You cast it out, and when your bobber starts to move, you start to reel in your slack a little bit, and you point the rod at the bobber. And then when the bobber either goes under and stays under or drifts in a direction, then you're going to pull back and set the hook. You'll know more when you see the video, but those are the kind of basic instructions. So the instructions are, you cast out and there's a bobber floating in the water. Then when the bobber goes under or starts moving in a direction, that means a fish has it and is grabbing it and swimming away from it, then you pull the rod back and set the hook. Essentially setting the hook is, here's the hook, and the hook is going to go, the fish is going to bite the hook, and you want to pull the hook so it lodges in the fish's mouth. Usually it's in the side of the mouth or in the top of the roof of the mouth, and that's what happens. That's what's called setting the hook. Hopefully you remembered all the sections of the fishing rod or the reel, and they'll come into play in the next half of this video. All right, I'll see you later. Be well. All right, this is lesson 2 of my many-part series on the basics of fishing. So you're going to need some sort of box to carry your fishing supplies in, and I'm going to go through what the essentials are of fishing, things that you need to bring with you, and some are, I guess, open for discussion, I suppose. So this is a very small tackle box. It cost $5. I bought it at Walmart, and this should suffice for anyone who's just starting in fishing. As this fills, then you get to fill other containers also. But this is good. You can put everything together. It has a handle and easy to carry on your adventures as you go. So we open it up. It has 2 sections. It has a top section and a bottom section. Things you're going to need to bring. You're going to need to bring hooks. Whatever type of hooks you're going to use. I think these are perfect for panfish and sunfish and whatnot. You're going to do that. There's my dog acting like a nuthead. Then you're going to need your bait. So if you have a can of worms, you're going to put your can of worms in here. And these are some other type of jig baits that you can use right here, if that's what you want to use. You're going to need bobbers of whatever sort you like. There's some hooks. You're going to need something to cut your line. So I think a knife is actually very overrated when it comes to fishing. I think more people cut themselves and hurt themselves. So you're just going to need, these are very similar to like toenail clippers, and they're on a lanyard. You can hook this on your belt buckle or the side of your shorts or your pants or whatnot, and it will clip the line for you. And it works better than a knife in my opinion. There. And I think this is essential, something to keep the buggies away. A lot of times when you're fishing on the shore, you're near the swampy part and you got bugs and reeds and everything else, and essentially the best times to fish are always in the morning and in the evening, and that's when the bugs are at the highest. So you definitely want something to keep the bugs away. All right, I think those are just the essentials for getting out there and fishing. This is big enough to put a water bottle in if you want to do that. Another thing that I find essential, but I'm not sure everyone finds essential, is our phones. We all have phones. We all have electronic devices that we can't be without, even when we're fishing. So if it was me, I would put your phone in here, and when you're not fishing, it stays up and stays locked up in here. And that's it. You know, you leave your phone in there. If it rings and you have to answer it, you answer it. But ultimately, you're out there to fish, have fun, and stay away from your phone. But if you need to bring your phone with you, you can buy something like this. This is exactly what I use. I use it on my kayak. I use it when I go striper fishing. I use it almost everywhere. I use it when I go hiking. I use it anywhere that I could possibly drop my phone in the woods or in the water. It's made by a company called Rogue Fishing. I think it's .com. And what it does is you can hook this to your belt loop, and it's a lanyard for your phone. I'll grab my phone here. Here's my phone. And all it does is it hooks like this. So, right around like this. And that way when you go and drop your phone because you're in the water or you got a fish, it stays attached to your person and it doesn't end up in the drink. If you drop your phone in the water, that's an expensive day. You know, if you're a young kid and your mom bought your phone for you, or even if that's not the case, you know, that could be an $800 day for someone, and that's no fun. When you can spend $10 on this, and it's a wonderful investment on this. All right, so that is the essentials there. The next half of this video, you're going to see me on the water. All right, I'll see you then. Bye. Show you how to put a worm on here. So we have our hook, we have our worms. We just kind of, the worms are going to break as they go on. Just keep sticking the hook through the worm. This isn't the best worm here. So on, just keep threading the worm on there. Really no wrong way to do it. Got a common fishing problem here. A lot of times you can just pull it out. It's just the line being twisted up, not used to being on the reel. That's what you want to do. That's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for them to pull it like that. And then there we are. A lot of what we're going to fish across our country is local ponds and lakes that are kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know, this looks like a good spot in and out of the vegetation. We can look a little further down though. Right now it's about 2 in the afternoon. When the sun's hot, like it is today, the fish will hide under the vegetation because the water's a little cooler. So if you can drop your bait right on the other side of that, chances are you're going to get one. The spot right down on the end here has a little shade, so it could be a promising spot. Well, this spot could be good too. Right on the edge here. Oh, there's some sunfish right there that I saw. Alright, this is going to be the spot. So you get to your fishing spot. You bring a little tackle box with you, or some sort of container to put your goodies in. You know, you're gonna might have a cell phone with you. You're gonna have some worms with you. You're gonna have different things with you. You put everything in there so it stays safe, so you don't lose anything. So we have our rod right here. So this is what I got. Might be a little big for the application we're using today. It's a size 1/0. It's made by Eagle Claw. See that 1 and the 0? That means 1/0. If it just said 1, it would be size 1. Open it up. These ones look like they're all sort of hooked together here. So you just grab the one that's furthest, like so, and weave it off. I put those back in my tackle box. Now I'm going to show you how to line up your rod. From lesson 1, we saw that there was a line keeper right here. So we unhook it from that. Make sure your bail is up, not down, in the up position. I'll hook my hook right in this little cork here. And we just feed the tag end of the line all the way up through the guides. Through all the guides, all the way to the top. Now this rod that I'm using here is an ultralight rod. I think it's 5 feet long. If the bail was closed, it wouldn't allow us to feed the line up through the guides. So we're going to feed it all the way up. We're almost to the top now. Like so. And give yourself a lot of slack. So we're going to click this over, pull the slack out. The wind might blow it. And then I hooked my hook right in the handle here so I can have it. Like so. I'm going to hold the rod between my legs so it doesn't fall down or go away or move, because the last thing we want is the line pulling while we are trying to put a hook on the other end of it. So sometimes you have to kind of fight with the elements. There's a little bit of wind out today. So to tie the hook to the line, I use a Palomar knot where you go through it and then you go back through the same hole and you grab 2 ends like this, so they came through like so, and you can grab this area right here. You can look online, and I can even put a link onto a Palomar knot, and all I do is I just kind of work it till I have a little play, and like so. And all I do, I wet the line a little bit with spit, and you just do an overhand knot with those 2 pieces. Go right through. Easier said than done, right? There we go. I went all the way through, and before we tighten it all the way, we're going to go around the bait or the hook for this purposes. If you're using a lure, you would just go around the bait. So we go right around it, and then we pull it. Before we tighten it, we spit on it, and we spit on the line to add a little bit of moisture when we're tightening the hook. Like so. And then we have our hook on there. You should always have some sort of cutting implement with you. I use this. It's just a clipper, and you clip the tag end off. I find it's much easier to use than a knife, and you know, it's a whole different generation of kids growing up where maybe they're not responsible enough to use a knife. Alright, so we have a hook on the end of the line. You can use it without a bobber, but I'm going to show you with a bobber first. So we go back. There's different types of bobbers. I find that this type of bobber is the best. It has a little hook on the bottom and a little hook on the top. I'll do a little tutorial on bobbers and hooks and everything also. Alright, so all you do is you clip it in the hook on the bottom, and then you just bring the line from the top of it, you depress this black piece, and so on. And then you try to guesstimate the depth of the water that you're fishing in. So I would say that that's about right. It may even be a little less than that. Ideally, you want your bait floating above the sort of the bottom of the so all you do is you press it in, and you can pull it up like that. So that's going to give me, what, 1.5 feet? I bet it's 2 or 3 feet deep right there. So we'll start at that length, and then we'll go from there. Now, we have worms. I went to Walmart and I got some worms, and they had red worms, which are fine. I think night crawlers work better just because they're bigger and they're fatter, but these will work just fine. So you grab a worm, and you have your hook right, hook right here. Grab a worm, and you poke the worm with the hook right through, like so. And then you just continue to sort of thread the worm onto the hook, like so. Alright, so now we're going to throw this in the water, and what we need to do is we need to watch the bobber. So when the bobber goes under, what we're going to do is we're going to pull our rod, usually in an upward or a sideward direction, in the opposite direction of the hook. Obviously we can't pull it that way because we're not over there. So we're going to pull it this way. Ideally what we want to do is, it's called setting the hook. So before I throw the bait in there, so here's your hook, right, like this, right? And then the fish's mouth is going to bite it like this. And we want to pull it so it gets sort of stuck in the fish's mouth. So we want to set the hook inside the fish's mouth and then ideally reel them in. All right, see how much luck we have. Now this is casting, so I'm kind of in tight quarters here, and a lot of these fishing ponds and everything like that, there's going to be vegetation everywhere, so you have to be wary of that. So reel it up till it's about, I don't know, 6 inches from the top, and you're going to take your index finger and you're going to grab the line right here, right up like that, and then we're going to open the bail. Now if I just open the bail, I didn't have my finger there, everything's going to fall. All right, so use your finger right up here, hold it like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to swing back. Oh, look, I caught the freaking thing. I already made a mess. You have to be wary of that. All right, so we're going to come back here and we're going to swing it out like this. And I always say try to put it in, try to let go maybe 1 foot to 2 feet before the actual part that you're going to, in the direction. So if I want to go straight out, I'm going to let my finger off right here. So like this. I let my finger off. There we go. So there's our bobber out there, and we're just going to wait for it to go under. And when it goes under, we're going to pull our rod in the opposite direction with the hopes of setting the hook on a fish. Now we don't... Here's that loop I was talking about. It's all looped up. Right, so I got the loop out, I pinch it here, and then I just keep tension on it, and I reel it back in until it's tight. Oh, and we get a fish. Look at that. Aha. Alright, come down near the hook. Fish is going to spin. I don't want to grab it this way because those spines are going to get me. So, oopsie. Spines don't hurt that bad. It's just when you're first starting out, you don't want to get stuck by them. It doesn't feel good. It's not the worst problem in the world. So take the hook out. Easier said than done, right? I got this one right through the nose. There we go. It's bleeding a little bit. Get him back in the water. He'll swim right away. We still got bait. the worm on the hook. Like so. Cast it out there. Oh, we're getting a bite. Oh, got one. Hey, look at that. So we got it. Bring your hand all the way down to near the hook so the fish doesn't spin. Grab the hook from the fish from underneath, push right on the gill plates. Don't go up underneath the gill plates. And then unhook the fish. There we go. You can throw it back.